Hi, welcome to today's healing. I'm Kristen, and if you're joining me today, that means that you are ready to make a change in yourself and the world around you. We're talking about part 15 today of the Power versus Force series, and we will be discussing joy, which vibrates at 540. So, what I'm going to read right now is something of great importance, and this simple line really embodies what joy is and how easy it is to attain once we're conscious and aware of it. Joy arises from within each moment of existence rather than any external source. So it sounds very simple, doesn't it? That joy exists within, and you cannot really attain it from an outside source. Like, I remember this guy 20 years ago, and he says, "You make me happy." And I said, "I don't want to be the source of your happiness. That has to come from you." Because then, if it's my job to make sure he's happy, then it's also me who makes him unhappy. And it's just a vicious, dysfunctional cycle. Now, I knew that it was dysfunctional, it was abusive and dangerous, but I couldn't get away from him because he was a psychopath. And it took me almost just shy of a full year to get away from him safely. And I used my intuitive skills to be able to read his moods and this and that, and I knew how to manipulate him in order to stay safe throughout that year. But joy, true joy, comes from within. And we are not the source of someone's happiness. It's just not how it is. It's not healthy that way. And so if someone says, "You make me happy," then you also make them mad and unhappy. So take that into consideration. I'm going to read this one more time. Joy arises from within each moment of existence. So every moment of existence, this is where we have the opportunity for joy. And we cannot get it from without. Sure, people, I know that my grandson brings me great joy, but it's not his responsibility to be the source of that joy. Okay. True joy is also the level of healing and of spiritually based self-help groups. Now, you've got your self-help books and self-help groups, but a lot of them are still seeking and they are still moving up that vibrational scale. So be careful what you might fall into or what you might misconstrue as true joy, because it might not be that. Not many people vibrate at true joy, but it is possible. And we can feel true joy, but this is like a constant state of being. This is the level of saints, true spiritual healers, and advanced spiritual students. And I am always a student of the spiritual, but I am not in a constant state of joy. nor am I in a constant state of love. I am moving toward that. I'm conscious and aware that this is where I want to be, but I am a work in progress. So don't be pulled in by people who think that they are in a constant state. You might meet somebody who is, and boy, oh boy, would I love to sit down with them. Okay. This level is characteristic of the capacity for enormous patience and the persistence of a positive attitude in the face of prolonged adversity. Sometimes we're set off, aren't we? Sometimes we move back into judging or anger or sadness. But this is a prolonged and constant state that joy is when you hit 540. Joy sees the world as exquisite and perfection in creation. And most of the time, we're going to see the world how it is that we're feeling, or our natural disposition. But people at the true level of joy see the world as creative perfection. And they see everything as love. And this is where, love was unconditional. Love is unconditional. But joy is becoming more and more unconditional. You're raising your vibrational levels even more, and you're seeing the world as perfection instead of, in love, we see people and we have an unconditional love for them in all things. But the world we see as true perfection. Synchronicity is powerful here, and everything seems effortless. I've mentioned synchronicity in the past levels, and this is where it's almost like you're reading a new syntax or something. It's a whole new level of communication, of like reading things. You read signs, you read symbols. Synchronicity is just hitting you right and left. It's a whole different language. The spiritual language becomes a whole new language. And as you move up the vibrational scale, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll see this happen. You will experience it. I don't experience it fully, but I do know that there's a spiritual language that I pick up on, that, symbols and signs and synchronicities. But I am not at the level of true joy. Lord, do I wish I was. Walking through that door, there's no walking back. The world is seen as an expression of love and divinity. Individual will now merges with the divine will. So the one thing that we have is our own will to do what we will do, to do what we want to do. And the divine will is a whole other level. And this is where we merge those two together and become, in essence, divine ourselves. We're really losing that human part of us and becoming more divine, more ethereal, more spiritual. We're still humans. We're still experiencing human life, but in a whole different concept. And we just become more spiritual, more divine. An ethereal presence is felt here, whose power facilitates phenomena termed miraculous by an ordinary observer. This is where I don't know. Do miracles happen here? I know that miracles have happened for everyday people in the lower levels. So I can't really talk to this because I'm not quite sure. But I suppose that everything seems miraculous when you're at the level of joy and such divinity. A sense of responsibility ramps up in joy, a desire to use your higher consciousness for the beauty of life, not so much individual. The more one loves, the more one can love. Again, unconditionally. And again, this is where I think true love is unconditional love. More and more unconditional love. And it's been said that near-death experiences can move us to the level of joy. It crosses us over spiritually in a way that, because you've seen the afterlife, you've been to that near-death place that puts us in a whole other dimension. And I think that it would have you lose some of the lower levels that you are now divine. Okay, that was a lot to get through, and it's not something, I've experienced some unconditional love. I've experienced some of the aspects of the level of love, but the true joy at 540, I can't say that I've experienced that yet. So I do apologize for maybe stumbling through this, but I've brought it to you in a way that I was able, and what you do with it now, that's up to you. So I did say that I would discuss the higher chakras today, and we have the 8th and 9th chakras. And the 8th chakra it says it starts about 1.5 inches up. So from the crown chakra. But for me, mine is about here. And I would say it's about 5 inches up. And this is where the Akashic records are held. This is where time and space continuum, you can access this here or here for you, or wherever it is that you feel is where yours is. And the Akashic records, that is a system, they call it a book or books, but I always called it the field of discovery. And I have been able to access this. I access this regularly when I had my business, my holistic healing business. And I could tap into people's past lives or tell them I couldn't tell them their future all the time. But if it was necessary to know, then I could tap in to their Akashic records and tell them what I saw or relationship dynamics. I could tell them the different avenues if they stayed with this person, or, even family issues or this or that. And so the Akashic Records is basically everything that you have done, seen, said, heard. It's all recorded there, and all that you will happen. Now, in the different dimensions and such, there are different variables that could happen. There are different timelines happening all at once, and it depends on what choice you make. And I can get into this later after I've finished. I think I only have two more: peace and enlightenment. And then I can get into like quantum physics the best that I'm able, so that you can kind of understand that, and true manifestation. But this is time continuum at level 8, and this is seen as silver or ultraviolet. And destiny, our soul decisions before we were born regarding life events and the place that we can change these decisions. And that is the different timelines. So, that's level 8. So, okay. I'm a little off today. I'm sorry. And then we have chakra 9, which is the soul chakra. And that is said to be about an arm's length up. But for me, if I bend my elbow, that's about where it is for me. Okay, the seat of the soul communicating in images, symbols, archetypes, patterns, and numbers. And I would say that this kind of moves along with the level of joy, but you can access the 9th chakra without being in joy. But in joy, it seems like everything, it's just a whole different language. And here you're accessing these symbols and synchronicities and things like that. Vibrational levels change here. Okay, so if you are wanting to raise your vibrational level, really work on that 9th chakra, because this is where you can access that. And it takes some doing. You've got to really work through the other chakras like you do the lower vibrational levels to reach a higher vibrational level. But some people are naturally attuned to their vibrations. They're more spiritually advanced, even coming in. That was me. I was born more psychically advanced, I guess. But I really had to, like I said before, have these Reiki trainings so that I could understand what was happening with me. Fundamental seeds and info of our soul's purpose. This is where we can be more in tune to, what am I here for? What is my purpose? And I think that this was said in acceptance or love. I can't remember, where we start saying, we question, hey, I know I'm here for a reason. What is my soul purpose? And each symbol functions like a chromosome. This is where your soul and your physical merge more, and your soul functions as its own entity. And so each symbol functions as a chromosome. I know that's hard to explain. I wish I could explain it better. But anyway, it is the soul chakra. Okay. Shall we work on those higher chakras today? Okay, ready? Let's see if we can't open up. Woo, I feel it. Let's swirl out that soul. I guess I just feel a little discombobulated today. Maybe, talking about the higher levels, my vibrational level is getting all, I don't know, vibrating higher. I don't know, just talking about it, because it can happen. It can happen. Okay. Well, if you made it through this one, I applaud you. Okay. I will see you next time, and go out and change the world. All right. Bye-bye.